And we are off. We are kicking off the stream, guys. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It is Tuesday, the 18th of June, AD 2024. And I have to say, rest in peace, according to the news, the underground news, to Azzmador. I'll be talking a little bit about that. He has passed away. He died at 57, according to reports that I've seen. My source is the internet. Shout out to the internet. So that's gone too soon. But I will cover that. He's called into the Hake report before. He's been a guest on the show. I was a guest on his show. JLP was on his show before. Honorable man. I do hope to cover some other evil news going on in the world. Biden is pulling an Obama amnesty for certain types of illegals. So evil. And Taiwan is pushing, Commie Nonsense Network, CNN. And pardon me for using the word communist all the time, but that's just, they're not the only liars, of course, commies. But they're pretty shameless liars, so I just use it for that. They're pushing this fake idea called marriage equality. It's ridiculous. So I hope to cover that and some other mess going on in the world. All right? Other mess going on in the world. Made for kids. Vivek Murthy pushing that mess. And we will get to your calls, guys. 1-888-775-3773. But anyway, let's just get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake report. The Hake report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys! So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my Stretch Armstrong t-shirt today. It's an old Christian band back when I was in high school. South Carolina. Isn't that kind of nice? And it's a size medium. Fits a little okay, I guess. The way that it fits maybe looks better than a large, but a large is more comfortable. But it's also a little bit less comfortable because you have to move around. So what a mess. Anyway, it's black. Kind of an appropriate colors because our friend, my friend, your friend, Azzmador, friend of America, has died according to the news. Lee Rogers reported on InfoStormer. And shout out to Shaggy Boy. Hey, Shaggy man. He mentioned it in my Telegram, the Hake Report Telegram, that the host of the Crypto Report has died. The Crypto Report hosted Hake a number of times. I most recently talked to Azzmador on his birthday, I believe. 57-year-old birthday within the past few months. Terrible. And he's died at the tender age of 57. Let me read this little news report. InfoStormer by Lee Rogers, written June 18th, this morning, Tuesday, 2024 AD, the year of our Lord. The Crypto reports, crypto with a K. Azzmador has passed away at 57 years old, reportedly died Monday morning, June 17th, 2024. Real name was Robert Wray. It's okay to dox the deceased, dox the dead. And it took me a second. It took me like an hour to pull up this web page. The internet is very censored nowadays. Lee Rogers co-hosted with him at times, and he writes for this website. I think he made this website. He heard late afternoon after receiving a phone call from Azzmador's mother, Robert Wray's mother. From what Lee Rogers understands, paramedics and doctors attempted to revive him but were unsuccessful ultimately. His final episode was TKR Live, the Crypto Report Live Saturday night special mass murder machine with special guest Lee Rogers on Saturday, June 15th, 2024. 2 days later, he's gone. There's a picture of him, a real life picture of him. I first saw him knowingly, my first awareness. I feel like I might have seen him around here and there. But here he is standing in front of a beautiful, maybe Confederate monument in a t-shirt, a black t-shirt with a big old beard, gray beard, baseball cap. He was a tall guy. Robert Azzmador Wray, 1966 to 2024. I first saw him in Vice, the far-left extremist outlet Vice, originally co-founded by Vice magazine, originally co-founded by Gavin McInnes, who's like a Canadian, centrist, center-right guy. He was the inspiration of that girl who went viral for saying the N-word, Gavin McInnes. Anyway, Gavin McInnes made Vice, and then Vice became extremely liberal, and they did a hit piece, basically a documentary on the Charlottesville people, and Azzmador was among the people. Also, on another guy who was on the Hake report years ago, Christopher Cantwell. They really went after him. But, Azzmador, they did a Unite the Right rally, and it turned out to be ill-advised to go. A whole lot of right-wingers, whites, civic nationalists, people who just love America, patriotic people. They don't like these Confederate monuments being torn down across the beautiful South. Leave it up. Let's be united. And then evil Black Lives Matter, evil Antifa, evil city council, mayor, whatever, and even evil-led police, politically motivated police, did not let them have their rally in summer, August 2017, Charlottesville. They let Antifa and Black Lives Matter attack the whites. The whites, some of them fought back and got the hard hand of the law coming down on them. Some Antifa got in legal trouble too a little bit, but mostly they're going after the whites. And the whites were the ones who had the right to have the thing. They went through the proper protocol. And so they were persecuting even him and many of the whites to this day. Terrible. Well, he's free from that now. Rest in peace, Azzmador. He interviewed JLP. At first, he was kind of antagonistic to Jesse Lee Peterson. And then he realized what JLP is about, and he really loved Jesse. Called him his pastor at one point. Isn't that cool? Nice. So rest in peace to Azzmador. He was an honorable man and a reasonable man. And not a kiss-up, not a people pleaser. I loved following his Telegram and catching him on... He eventually got on Rumble. Nice. So right on, Azzmador. Rest in peace. Thank you, Hassan. Let me get to Daniel in Texas, Tejas. Daniel is on the line. Daniel knows about Hake from Azzmador, I think. What's up, Daniel? Are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, James.
Yeah.
I just want to say some words about Azzmador and what he meant to me.
Cool.
He saved that statue in the picture. It's not a Confederate statue. That is Sam Houston.
Whoa.
And that is Azzmador's lasting legacy, is saving that statue. That's the Sam Houston statue. That would be the equivalent of saving a statue of George Washington in Washington, D.C. And Azzmador went to that statue when Black Lives Matter and people were taking down statues across the South, and he saved it.
That's awesome. It is endlessly obnoxious and evil that they're tearing down these monuments. Sam Houston was a great man out of Texas.
Yes.
And I remember him quoting or paraphrasing, if I remember correctly, within the past few months, Azzmador quoting a speech by Sam Houston, or perhaps it was a writing piece, but I think it was a speech defending slavery. If you don't have the freedom to own slaves, are you really free? But you've told me stuff about Sam Houston too. These people were interesting, independent thinkers.
Yes. Yes. And, Azzmador had introduced me to you and Jesse, and I listened to the collaboration when you and Jesse went on to Azzmador's show with Azzmador's counterpart. And so that's when I started tuning into you regularly.
Yeah.
Because I had that type of message of forgiveness that Jesse had was very appealing to me. And Azzmador gave me that message, and he gave many young men that message. He gave many men across the board, men, women alike across the board, that message of forgiveness. It was Azzmador who did that. So that's what he means to me, and that's just all I wanted to say.
Yeah, one of the guys around here, Bill, uses the phrase "bought lesson." When you make a mistake, and then you in life, or you make an error in life, and you suffer for it, but you warn others against it. I would hear Azzmador warning about anger and violence and all that stuff, and I don't know if Azzmador was ever violent, but he had lived a rough life in the past, and he really caught hell after this Charlottesville thing happened, and I've heard. And he warned people, calm down, don't be participating in this IRL, in real life stuff, because the law is against you right now. So just lay low, don't dox yourself, don't dox others, and just spread the truth and live the truth. And he had a great message against drinking and all kinds of things. That's cool.
He was canceled more than anybody that I know of.
Yeah.
And I follow a lot of these right-wing commentators.
Yeah.
And I don't know of anybody who had garnered a following that was canceled so often and had continued to, because following him was very similar to. I kind of would think that it would be like listening to rebel radio in a communist country like North Korea.
Wow, that's
what it felt like listening to Azzmador.
Yeah,
you had to constantly find where is he broadcasting? We have to find his location.
Yeah,
we had to zero
on the
in
internet. Not his physical location. Yeah.
No. Yeah, on the internet, we had to catch the skip of his radio broadcast.
Yeah.
And that's what it felt like. Rebel radio. You're in enemy territory, and you're trying to get to the good guys.
Yeah.
But he's absolutely right. And when you go around talking to people who normies, as we call them, and if you start talking about some of your complaints, the first thing that they will typically suggest is, well, why don't you talk to other people that are like that? And it's innocent enough, but the reality is you get things like Charlottesville, where the feds have basically totally controlled those things. And the reality is the only thing that I can suggest to anybody is just never complain.
Yeah.
Never complain. Go do your job. Go learn your whatever job it is you're doing. Focus on that, and never ever complain. And then call into the Hake report or something.
Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, even the Bible does say, live a quiet life. As far as it depends on you, get along with all men. I know that you really, there's some people you can't. That's why it says, as far as it depends on you. At least that's an NIV translation. I'm sure the real translation is different. but the message is still there. Don't get yourself into unnecessary trouble. Like, live your life, be a light where you are, and wish everybody well. Don't fall to the anger and bitterness and helplessness, black pill stuff.
Also, Joe needs to change the batteries on his smoke detector.
You think so? That's funny that you say that.
That's the second time. Because the last time you're like, no, he's outside with the birds. Well, that time he called, he's like, oh, hi, I'm inside because I got the guys cutting the trees. Beep.
So you heard it, huh?
Yes. Well, we all heard it.
I didn't notice. That's funny. I normally do notice, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
All
Well, cool, man. It's great talking to you. Thank you for your input on that. I remember you saying that you found me and JLP through Azzmador, and that's cool that he spread that message, and he was an example of it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Bye. Let me read some super chats. At least one here. Pertinent. Ego is real. Bought a coffee. R.I.P. Rest in peace. Azzmador. A lifelong at Azzmador, by the way. A lifelong advocate for the white people. For white people. My mind kind of doesn't want to believe it. Continued consequences of Charlottesville cancel culture. Two devils fighting. Yeah. Yep. Also, don't smoke, kids, based on his Telegram messages, as had been dealing with symptoms that sounded like peripheral artery disease, according to Ego is Real. A couple days ago, his leg pain dramatically increased, and he just couldn't get comfortable. Yeah, I had heard, every now and then he'd be like, can't do it, guys, or could really use your prayers, guys. And so he was going through it. Well, we hope he's free now. That's cool. Thank you, Ego is Real. Carver says, for Azzmador, chin up king, because Hake can't risk singing Tupac, Dear Mama Don't Cry, your baby boy's doing good, tell the homies I'm in heaven and they ain't got hoods. I thought you were going to give me how many brothers fell victim to the streets. But anyway, fortunately it was not the streets, I guess. Seen a show with Marvin Gaye last night. It had me shook. Drippin' peppermint schnapps with Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke. Then some lady named Billie Holiday sang sitting there, kicking it with Malcolm till the day come. Little Latasha show grown. Tell the lady in the liquor store that she's forgiven, so come home. Maybe in time you'll understand only God can save us. When Miles Davis cutting loose with the band, just think of all the people you knew in the past that passed on. They in heaven found peace at last. Picture a place that they exist together. There has to be a place better than this in heaven. So right before I sleep, dear God, what I'm asking, remember this face, save me a place in Thug's Mansion. Whoa. Thank you, Carver, for your coffee. That's cool. Tupac. Azzmador really liked Sam Cooke. Saturday night, and I ain't got nobody. Just got paid. It's a nice song. It's better than how I'm singing it, obviously, I'm pretty sure. Somewhat obvious. Anyway, thank you. Thank you. By the way, another coffee from, while I'm on these, Barf Boy. I don't like that word, that name, but I read it. He has desensitized me. Kids don't say that word, that B word. But anyway, unless your parents let you. But if they don't, respect your parents, What you don't realize about Hake's suggestion box, this is my suggestion box, is that it actually is his shredder. All of your suggestions aren't seeing the light of day. Although the thought of Mark as co-host and Joe on the phone was very tempting, so says Barf Boy with his coffee. Funny, man. I shall put your suggestion in my suggestion box. No, I appreciate your suggestions. Terry bought a coffee saying, you have not been shadow banned, Hake. The Lord has covered you with his feathers and under his wings you've taken refuge. That's kind, Terry. I don't know if you're trolling me or if that's real, but that is kind and I appreciate it. Yes, tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Not shadow banned, just protected by the Lord's feathers. Nice. So before I get into these stories, terrible stories, this terrible news going on in the world, let me get to Hector in New Mexico. Hector in New Mexico, how are you doing, man?
Hello, James. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Indeed.
But I was actually hoping to catch Daniel, the historian of the show, because he seems to know a lot about the origins of the races or people's ethnicities. And I suppose if Daniel happens to stumble upon this question, I was just wondering how Mexicans came to be, because I've looked into it, and even though my name is Mexican, my background is really, like, the percentage of Mexican in me is really it's low in comparison to how much white I have in me and Indian. But I was just I looked into it, and I mean all I could find was that Mexicans were a derivative of certain tribes or certain Indian tribes, like the Apaches and certain other tribes. But it's difficult to understand. It's difficult to understand where they came into the picture or how they came into the picture, and because it's I guess I was just wondering about this lately, and I think Daniel knows or has an idea. Maybe I would love to get his take on it. But since I brought the question up, I mean, what do you know about this? Like, do you know anything about that?
I had always assumed that the Mexicans were basically Spaniards more or less mixed with the American Indians from that area. You know, I don't know if it was Aztecs or Mayans, probably Aztecs, and maybe some others, Oaxacans, and some of them are just full-blown Oaxacans or whatever they are, different areas of Mexico. So I just assumed that that's what the Mexicans are or was a mixture, or maybe 100% Spaniard in Mexico, or 100% Indian, for lack of a better word, American Indian in Mexico. That's what I always assumed. So when you say you're mostly white, is that the Iberian Spaniard white, or is that Anglo white or Saxon white, or do you know? How do you know this? Is it like DNA type of thing?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to try the DNA thing, but I've heard things about that, and I mean, I don't know. There could be conspiracy theories at this point about how they tend to retain your DNA on file.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I'm not sure how I feel about that, but
right.
My uncle did the DNA test, and he said that that he was mostly white and Apache Indian. So. Oh,
okay.
So I think it was Anglo white.
Okay, cool.
But due to my father, that's why I have some Mexican in me. But my mom's side, they were living on this land for a very long time, and they're derivatives of Apache Indian and Caucasian, I believe. So.
Okay, the Apaches, according to Wikipedia, a quick search, were in the Southwest American, southern plains and northern Mexico. So they could have been Americans or as in USA or Mexico. Interesting, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny that you referred to Daniel as my historian here, because I used to call Azzmador our resident historian because he knows a lot about history.
Nice. Yeah,
But,
and rest in peace to Azzmador, because I really love that guy. He was a great guy. I enjoyed his calls when he called into the show to speak to you and Jesse.
Yeah, me too. Interesting guy. He would cut through the crap, for lack of a better word. He was like Mark, but a little bit more sane and sensible and even keel. But he spoke with that type of authority that Mark, knows history and speaks just plainly and direct. That was Azzmador. That's cool, man. What makes you interested in this Mexican's origin?
Well, I was never interested in where I came from, to be honest with you, until the other day. I started wondering the backgrounds of my family, and my mom doesn't speak to her dad anymore because of her own reason. He seemed to have gotten ousted from the family, so it's difficult for me to talk to him. He hates my family too.
Because you have to go through her to find him?
Yeah, and I found, because of her, I found his Facebook profile, but it might be difficult to actually reach out and talk to him because he's made it clear to my mom that he hates Mexicans, and the reason why my dad was never invited to any family events on his side. So it's all good. It's all good. I totally understand why Mexicans get a bad rap too. So
yeah.
It's not. It's in people's rights to discriminate how they see fit. So,
right. Yeah.
I've accepted it.
That happens to a lot of parents, I think, that their children sort of rebel and go outside of the race or ethnicity, and part of it is out of resentment. This love-hate relationship that people have with everybody breeds that romantic connection.
Yeah, actually, it's because of Jesse that I realized that going outside or race was actually not evil, but he helped me to understand that we should try to stay within our own race. And I have my reasons for believing that too, but he just helped me to understand it better, I suppose.
Yeah. Cool, man.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to ask, and hopefully if Daniel happens upon this question, then I would love to get his take on that and see what he says too. Yeah,
definitely. Cool, man. Well, it's great hearing from you, Hector in New Mexico. Call me again sometime, man.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Bye. And one last super chat related to Azzmador here over on Rumble. I neglected to catch it. BrandonM10. Hey, BrandonM. He's the one person who gets to harass the people whom I say don't harass. Hey, BrandonM. R.I.P. Azzmador. Yes, I do check Rumble. I was just remiss. Hake is a little scatterbrained at times. A great friend and storyteller. Indeed, a great storyteller. Godspeed, TKR, the Crypto Report forever. Hope you're doing well, Hake. Yes, I am. Thank you, BrandonM. Nice to see from ya. Appreciate you, man. And thanks for the support. That's cool. Okay, let's get into this evil stuff going on in the world. It's terrible. Commie Nonsense Network had this ridiculous report about what they called undocumented spouses. That's why I call them commie nonsense, because they say things that are not what they are. They go all around, they change the language completely to cloud what really is. Evil Biden did it. The Biden administration, which is the Obama administration, part 3. Same people. You know what I mean? If you check out their administration, it's filled with Obama holdovers. or Obama comebackers, because a lot of them were left or were removed after Trump. But this is from the news. Undocumented spouses. Ridiculous. This was number 2 in the top news of the morning from Commie Nonsense Network, and I have a little screenshot of this little paragraph. The Biden administration will announce an executive action today that will, and they may have already, who knows, that will shield certain undocumented spouses and children of U.S. citizens, so-called U.S. citizens, right, from deportation. The policy, so if you marry an illegal, or if you are already married to an illegal, maybe it's not going to be like, oh, quick, get married. We'll let you stay. Maybe you already have to have been married. Who knows? Because they don't want to. They're probably going to do something like that. Who knows? The policy will provide so-called legal status and protections for about 500,000 so-called American families and roughly 50,000 non-citizen children, meaning illegal children of immigrants under the age of 21 whose parent is married to a U.S. citizen. What a mess. So said a senior administration official, unnamed, right? Anonymous sources. The move amounts to one of the federal government's biggest relief programs for undocumented immigrants. There's that communist buzzword, illegal aliens. That's what they are. An alien is a foreigner. A foreigner is a human. No human is illegal. We're not illegal. We're not aliens from outer space. Stupid. Silly people. Don't say stupid too much, kids. Biggest relief program since DACA, Deferred Action, DACA, Deferred Action for Children of Americans, quote unquote Americans, right? Something like that. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Childhood Arrivals. That's what it was. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA. That's what Obama did. And then he turned them into dreamers, right? Letting them work here, go to school here, get jobs here, all that stuff. Deferred action, meaning we're going to let you stay. We're not going to deport you right away. That program was announced in 2012, right before his re-election. And evil Biden, right before his wannabe re-election. We'll see what happens, right? The action, and CNN admits this. Commie Nonsense Network admits that it's not because they love them. It's because he wants to get he doesn't really care. He's just winning his election. That's like a lyric, right? Yeah. From where? Michael Jackson. Oh, I didn't know that. Appealing to key Latino. Shout out to Latinos. Do you like the Latin people? Do you like them? Do you like them? JLP said to that Univision reporteress. Key Latino constituencies in battleground states. They don't really care about us. Oh, no, but I think there might be another thing. He don't really care. He's just winning his election. I feel like it's either a rap song, or maybe it's in that song. It totally could be. They don't really care about us. But I feel like I heard it in either like a Pink Floyd dub thing, dub Side of the Moon, or else maybe like a Radio Dread. I bought a couple of dub albums of Radiohead's. Some album turned into like, Jamaican music. What a mess. Anyway. I forget where I heard that. But anyway, it's true. Including Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia will be crucial for Biden's chances to win a second term. So it is a plain obvious, as my caller yesterday said, but yeah, Michael Jackson is right. They don't really care about us. Nobody cares about you. Even your wife, or your girlfriend, or your husband, or your boyfriend, or your father and mother sometimes. Look at this. Biden set to announce one of the biggest relief programs for undocumented immigrants since Obama-era DACA. Did you know, some of you may remember, Obama tried to do DAPA. DAPA. illegal parents who had anchor babies here. Deferred action for parents of Americans. DAPA. And that was struck down. They're like, okay, come on. This is too far. Come on, Obama. Even the courts had to stop him. And the courts are enemies of America oftentimes. Case in point, everything that you've seen lately. Parents of deferred... Still, see... So, crooked, evil, sleepy Joe from Phoenix, Arizona, trying to say, oh, Obama was very tough on the border. He deported more than anybody. He was called the deporter-in-chief. He was called the deporter-in-chief. But he was for illegals coming in. He let the UACs come in. He let the DACA's dreamers stay. And he tried to let the parents of illegals, people come here and have drop an anchor baby. Oh, and that anchor baby becomes an American. And then they can stay because the parents can stay because the children are American. So evil. Typical mama spirit, evil Democrats. And they don't care about you. As my caller yesterday said, I forget who it was. He said that they are trying to they could have given amnesty a long time ago, but no, or, worked out some deal, path to citizenship. No, they like it. They like us fighting. They like us being mad. They like them coming in. And there's all kinds of sick, perverted motivations behind allowing them to stay and reasons for letting them come in, letting them stay. They don't want it fixed. And they, being Republicans and Democrats, it is just a mess. But Trump was the only one who was pushing for a solution besides the great Congressman Steve King, who was ousted by the evil rhinos and my evil caller, Joe from Phoenix, called him a white supremacist or a racist or something like that. Well, he supported the ousting of him because he's an establishment lame-o. And an establishment is for the self-destruction of America. It's not good for the illegals, as my caller said yesterday. And I've made this point before, and I've heard from illegals who were deported and who it was tough for them, but it turned out for the best. Nacho called me, Ignacio from Mexico called me one time years back saying, I was deported. I reunited with my father, though, my father in Mexico. They pretend like, oh, we're separating families here. They don't care about families. It's just propaganda, emotional, phony, intellectual propaganda. Shout out to the illegals. You know you're wrong. And you are contributing to the corrupt culture. And a lot of us have become corrupt. Doesn't make it right. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And keep your head down. I know some illegals who've turned, they've realized that racism doesn't exist, that the whites are under attack. They've become more conservative and sensible and more like men. Shout out to Trump, a man of goodwill for everybody, really. But we have to do it in the orderly, right way. The law and order candidate, they went after him with the fake law and fake order. Isn't that interesting? So, don't fall for it, illegals. Don't fall for Crooked Joe and his Obama administration. And one more quick news item. This one is sick. This one is maybe even sicker. Oh, it's sick. It's sick is sick, right? This is from number 4, LGBTQ plus rights. Another false identity. Because Latino is a false identity. You identify with Latino, then you forsake what's right. LGBTQ plus rights. Thailand. Check this out. Thailand. Isn't Thailand where where that guy, David Carradine, was found dead? Rest in peace, David Carradine. Was it? Yeah, he was found dead. And he was terrible, embarrassing story. I'm glad they didn't. I know that Azzmador wasn't into this mess, but David Carradine, you know, the man from Kung Fu, that old TV series or TV show. He's supposed to be like part Asian, but he looks completely white, and these people are treating him badly, like as if he looks Asian, but he's white. I'm like, what's going on? But he's this calm, doesn't quite fit into the West guy. And then David Carradine. I became familiar with David Carradine because of the Kill Bill Part 2, I guess, something like that. But anyway, he died a few years after Kill Bill 2 or whatever. And I think it was in Thailand, I'm not sure, one of those perverted Asian countries where you go to be perverted. Terrible, huh? Shameful. But hey, we don't look down on him. It's embarrassing, but it's hey, people got their issues. It's not good. I disavow it. But people get into all kinds of mess and can't control themselves. Thailand will become the first nation in the Southeast. Check this out. To legalize so-called same-sex, quote-unquote, marriage after the kingdom of Thailand's Senate approved a marriage equality. This is what I'm talking about with these communist buzzwords. That's not what that is. Marriage equality, what does that even mean? Oh, this different people other than like a normal man and a normal woman getting together and to have children, hopefully, make a family till death do them part. Husband, like in animal husbandry, leads the wife and guides the wife. Like in animal husbandry, you bridle that wild horse. And the wife, a husband denotes a leader, and a wife denotes the helper or whatever. I don't know. Husband and wife, not partnership, not this fake equal stuff. Oh, what? A wife and wife, or a husband and husband, or a something else perverted, or a multiple mess? No. Marriage equality, pretending like, in other words, special treatment. Special treatment and forcing people to pretend wrong is right. Anyway, bill today in Thailand. Oh, Thai food's so good. Hey, oh my gosh. Mouth watering. Shout out to the Thai tea. Too sweet, but it's good. That orange stuff. Mouth is watering. The curry, and this is not this Indian stuff that smells better than it tastes. No, this is Thai stuff that tastes great and smells great. Am I right? Yes, I'm right, of course. Anyway, supporters, but the people with the best food are the most degenerate because they are what? Italians, pizza, degenerate. Mexicans, Mexican food, degenerate. And then that's all I know. Thai food, degenerate apparently. Anyway, because they're all into sensuality. Upstanding normal people, just meat, potatoes, and vegetables, bland. They're the most civilized and orderly, but they got taken down. Terrible, because they accepted the Indian food. Anyway, supporters calling it a monumental step forward for LGBTQ plus, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, plus rights. A bunch of fake identity things that you get into, and they want you to identify with it and pretend like you get rights, which is really special treatment and in your face to the normal people who know better. Whether they're Christians or non-Christians, normal other religious people, or non-religious people who just know that it's not right. Thailand's Senate voted overwhelmingly in favor of passing the bill. 130 supported, 4 opposed. Shout out to the 4. I bet you out of those 4, 3 of them are hate-filled people too. Only one of them is, well, I shouldn't put up my pinky. Only one of them is doing it from like love. I'm totally speculating, but you know what I mean? Like the people who are opposed to the same-sex stuff, they're overreacting, they're hating. So watch yourselves. The result of the vote, Thailand will become only the 3rd place in Asia to allow for so-called marriage equality, fake word, after Taiwan legalized so-called same-sex marriage. Evil Taiwan. I used to be on the side of Taiwan, but now I'm on the side of China. Taiwan is China. No, that's overreacting. That's messed up. I don't necessarily believe that. I'm joking around a little bit, but I've known some Taiwanese people, and they were like Obama supporters. Obama supporters. We love the CCP. Yes, we bow to you. And I don't smile because Chinese know that people who smile are untrustworthy. So I shall not smile too much. And I bow to the CCP. Yes, si, senor. Hi. Oh, no, that's Japanese. And I'm smiling. That's not good. But, yeah, Taiwan student protests, Hong Kong student protests, bunch of lame-o, globo-homo socialists. I'd rather have Chinese communism than globo-homo communism. Maybe I wouldn't. This liberal stuff, you have some semblance of freedom still, and I don't know. I don't know what it's really like in China. I like America, but America's turning corrupt in this globo-homo stuff, NATO and all that stuff, turning very corrupt. NATO forces its member countries to acknowledge so-called same-sex evil stuff, LGBTQ so-called rights. That's evil. No longer spreading Christianity, where they're spreading the false religion of liberalism. Nepal in 2023 also did that. Nepal, did you know that? So-called same-sex marriage in Nepal, Taiwan, and now Thailand. 6 states blocked the Biden administration's, in America, new protections for LGBTQ plus students on Monday. There are new rules that require, under the evil Biden administration, education department, I guess, require students to protect, schools to protect students from so-called sex discrimination. What is that, Title IX or something like that? Amid a recent spate of laws aimed at limiting the so-called rights of LGBTQ plus Americans. It is a fight, it's a political fight, and they're using the gays to spread fighting and infighting amongst the Americans. Because normally, there are normal people who are Christians, and there are normal people who are falling into that LGBTQ plus stuff, who are not the radical ones who want to push it and force it on everybody, and they just can't help themselves. And that would be the normal way of being. But no, the politicians tempt people to identify with this stuff and then turn against each other and fight. And it's just division and destruction. And also it's encouraging people to get into their hell. The Christians hating in their hell, and then these people hating the Christians in their hell and identifying with the hell that's possessed them. Terrible, huh? You know, you following what I'm saying? Hopefully. So don't fall. Don't take the bait. You know they are fake. Just stop and wait. You can see the hate. There's no debate. Listen to Hake News. Shout out to Adri. Nice lyrics. That's cool. Okay. So that's the story on that. Oh, man. Terrible. Well, let me get to some calls here, guys. Ash in Lithuania. Ash, thank you for calling and holding. How you doing? Is it Ash, A-S-H?
Yeah, that's it, man.
Hey.
What's going on?
Not much. How about you?
Dude, I'm living in Lithuania.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm an American, right? And,
yeah.
So I've been making some observations about Lithuania and a lot of the things you guys talk about, especially this whole shopping cart fiasco. I know there's strong opinions on this.
Yeah. Have you called Hake before?
First time.
Okay. Nice to hear from you, man.
Yeah, you too. I always hear you on Jesse's show.
Yeah.
And I love how you guys bump heads. You know, you're one of the few guys who bumps heads with them a lot. And I think it's kind of funny. But
nice.
But yeah, so like some observations about the shopping cart. First of all, it is a sign of civilization to return it. And this is a very, and by the way, I just, for the record, I'm not a white person. I'm a biracial black and white person, American.
Okay.
But I do think that it is a very civilized white thing to do. And I remember it was about a year or two ago, I was in North Carolina in the parking lot of a grocery store, and there was a young black couple across from me. I'm getting into my car. They're putting their groceries in their car. And when they finished, the girl said, "Should we return it?" And the guy said, "Nah, just leave it right there. They have people who do that for you."
Yeah. Wow.
And I was like, oh my, I can't believe. To me, it was just like, this is it. This says everything. It's just the downfall of civilization. The man, like, she asked for his guidance.
Yeah.
And that was the guidance he gave his woman.
Yep.
And they weren't like some ghetto ratchet black couple. They were just like nice, normal young black kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Young, in their 20s. And he should have had a better answer than that. So anyway, here in Lithuania, they dispense with the cart altogether. You can buy groceries everywhere. There's a small grocery shop on every single corner in every single building. And what you do is you bring your own bag. Most people have like little canvas bags.
Yeah.
And they only buy enough groceries to put in that canvas bag. And then they walk back to their apartment or they catch the bus. Everybody takes the bus or the train. Not many people drive because cars are very expensive. And usually neighborhoods are kind of like boroughs were in New York back in the day, where they were kind of like communities and everything was kind of self-contained. So what you don't see is a lot of trash, plastic bags, wrappers, just junk, shopping carts being stolen and abandoned in various places by homeless people. And it's an even more advanced, it's a wider than white system.
Yeah.
It is ultra white. So that's what the United States has to get to. They have to get to that level.
That's interesting, man. You know, when you talk about the reusable bags, you know, these canvas bags, that that feels so European, and it feels like European socialism. I remember being in Germany, like Heidelberg, with a cousin who was staying there for a while, or maybe it was Cambridge, England, but I think it was Germany. I think it was Heidelberg. And going to a grocery store, we had to take our own bags, and that was foreign to me because that was like 20 years ago or more. And it was foreign to me because we were so used to paper or plastic, you know, in America. And we, the civilized whites, were fine with, we would get paper or we would get plastic. And we didn't litter it. We were responsible with it. But
you might
now,
even reuse it.
Yeah, you might even, yeah, we did like keep them or whatever. And that's convenient. You can stock up. You're a big family. You go to the grocery store, load up your car with the whatever. And I kind of like that American way. I like that, especially because people, especially for the civilized people who kept it orderly, didn't litter, but there always was litter. There always was a little bit of litter, and it's gotten more and more and more out of control. But those litter bugs tended to be the foreigners, or, you know, the more ghetto people who didn't care. You know, there was...
For sure.
Yep. So
and I'll even go back to a point you made earlier about bland food. Travel in Europe to the southern regions with the spicier, more well-seasoned food and the warmer climate, and you're going to see more litter, and you're going to see more graffiti and broken bottles and broke down cars.
Yeah.
And you know, up here, and I was in Poland before that, everybody eats, there's like 2 vegetables, cabbage and like carrots, beef.
Nice.
and potatoes. I don't know if potatoes are a vegetable, but everybody eats potatoes with everything, bread, and some kind of roast pork.
Yeah.
That's the diet. You know, and people are very civilized, they're very friendly, they're clean, they're polite. They don't walk around with a big smile all over their face like maybe you'd see in Italy or Spain.
Right.
But they're very civilized, and women are very beautiful. But also, you know, back to the cart thing, because there's not these gigantic mega grocery stores everywhere, people don't need a cart.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
A cart would be impractical.
There's smaller carts. Yeah, I mean, their streets are narrower and everything, huh?
Exactly. Like, you wouldn't buy enough food to put into a cart because, like I said, you don't have to drive 20 minutes through traffic to get to this giant mega grocery store to load up your cart because you're going once a week or twice a month, whatever people do.
Yeah.
Here, it's like you might get fresh bread every day or like 4 days a week.
Wow.
And get your eggs 4 days a week and get your milk 4 days a week, like kind of situation. So
yeah.
And also if you do go to a store, and I'll say any store, clothing, whatever, the bags are there, but you just got to pay for them and you got to ask for them. So they're not going to ask you if you want a bag, but if you do ask for a bag, they have them and you'll pay like a quarter or something.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one way to do it. I respect, and I didn't know that Lithuania, you say Lithuania, I'm thinking like North Africa. And it's not North Africa. It's the Baltic region, whatever the Baltic region is. It's Eastern Europe, would you call it?
It's Eastern Europe, but it's not like sketchy Eastern Europe. It's
right.
more like Norway, Finlandy type vibe.
Okay.
So it's right there, kind of bordering Russia and Poland. It's like North
Belarus,
Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
Belarus.
Not quite bordering Russia because there's Latvia and Belarus interrupting them before they get to. I'm looking at it.
There's a little piece of Russia to the west, if you see. So there's a little.
Really? So a little, a little island part of Kaliningrad Oblast.
Yeah.
That's part of Russia. Weird.
That's Russia. That's Russian territory.
So that's kind of like our Alaska.
Isolated.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess so.
So they have a little bit of a shore along with the Baltic Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, cool. Lithuania. Funny, man.
Yeah, if you ever make it out here, come to a place called Vilnius, and it's a beautiful city. It's
Vilnius.
It's super cold in the wintertime, but it's one of the most beautiful cities in Europe.
Wow.
Well-preserved medieval architecture, art, culture, food, all that good stuff. And none of the trashiness of the Southern Europeans.
Yeah. Shout out to the Southern Europeans, those trashy people.
I was born in Italy, man, so I'm not, those are kind of my people, but not really.
Right. Fair enough. Well, great input. Thank you for the stories and the analysis. Ash in Lithuania, call me again sometime.
I will, man. Take it easy.
You too. Take care. Wow. He told me I almost told him I would never remember this name. Vilnius. It's in the southeastern part of Lithuania, closer to like Belarus. So it's very inland. Nice. I am not streaming on IG, guys, okay? Let me read a Cashapp that came in. Shout out to Tim, the real Tim Scott, not to be confused with the Rhino. Thank you for the support, man. James Anton Hake on Cashapp. Did you know? That's cool. So let me just double check for any other super chats that may have come in. Thank you, Carver. Thank you, Ego is Real, Barf Boy, Terry Strange, Based America First, Popcorn's Thump Keg, man, for the support over the recent days. GMD Jim. By the way, GMD Jim gave me that super chat that I kind of rushed through. I don't know if your one caller mentioned that the first true slave, lifetime slave owner was Anthony Johnson, a black man. I had heard this. Hassan was all excited about it when he found out too. When his servants, John Punch, another black man, but who was a servant, a Dutchman and a Scotsman tried to escape. It's 3 servants, I think, a Dutchman, a Scotsman, and a black. They tried to escape. Anthony Johnson sued to make John Punch the first true slave, black on black slavery. And I learned from the great American historian, Dinesh D'Souza. I think he did Hillary's America or something like that. And that's where I learned that the black slave owners were harsher, according to documentation that he found, harsher slave masters than the white slave owners. And many of these black slave owners were former slaves themselves, maybe because they knew how to take it. They knew how much the blacks could actually take. They knew the schemes. Like I know how, I've worked among Mexicans. I know how a lot of Mexicans work. And so somebody who knows the Mexicans might be tougher on the Mexicans. Somebody who knows his fellow blacks and fellow slaves, who used to be a slave, knows how much a slave can take. So he's harsher. Or he's bitter about it and becomes what he hated, worse than what he hated. Who knows? Interesting, huh? I'm not saying it's bad to be harsh. I mean, there's a appropriate harshness, you know? Harmony bought 3 coffees. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Thank you, Harmony. Appreciate that. We've been plowing through the breaks lately, and so I think I'm going to plow through the break. Feeling okay. Mark in Los Angeles is on the line here. Mark in L.A., thank you for calling and holding. What is up?
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple things I want to get out of the way right away. In regards to the LGBT movement, it was actually started in Nazi Germany in the 1930s.
I heard that.
Yeah, and the Nazis stomped them down. They kicked them out. I don't know what they did with them, but it ended right there until it was revived in the U.S. So this pervert from Phoenix who says that all National Socialists are pedophiles is again a liar. The NS, the National Socialists, eliminated that perversion.
Watch your side insults talking about this pervert from.
No, I call him a liar.
No, you call him a pervert though. But so don't be calling him a pervert.
I'll take that one back.
Thank you.
I didn't know I said it.
Yeah.
But he is definitely a liar, and that issue proves it. Yeah, the Nazis hated the pedophile.
I know that there was. I know that I know that there is evil in evil and perversion on some level in every human being, but you're right. They pushed that to be open about it, and I've heard all kinds of crazy things. It's terrible.
Yeah, the morals in Germany before the National Socialists took over were about almost, not quite, but they were down at the level of where we're at today in America.
Wow.
The other thing I wanted to say in regards to the illegal alien invasion, if you remember in 2017, the night before Charlottesville, there was a march, and they said they will not replace us.
Right.
They didn't say Jews will not replace us. It said they will not replace us.
I think they said both.
No, I heard they.
I heard Jews, but maybe I heard a doctored version. But the point, I didn't take umbrage to that because they were just saying, "Oh, the Jews are in power and they're bringing in or a lot of them are Democrats too, and a lot of them are in power, and a lot of them are judges or whatever, and they're supporting these illegals coming in and these people coming in."
They're not. The Jews aren't crossing the border by the millions and taking our jobs. So that's the difference. They are bad, but they are not.
No, but I think that what they meant was they will not replace us with all these foreigners. They basically are kind of blaming Jews for immigration.
for illegal immigration.
Right.
And I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But again,
But
they
not
were
just
on the top.
illegal, because legal immigration is a mess too, of course.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I think at least they were on target again. Now, the other things, 2 other crime, black on white crime situations that have happened recently. Well, it was one illegal alien who raped a beautiful white woman and murdered her in the Carolinas.
When was that?
And
Was that the Lake and Riley one, or
No, this just happened
more recent?
over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, over the weekend. She was a beautiful blonde woman.
Mhm.
She worked out. She was, the model of Aryan beauty. Was raped and murdered by some savage from El Salvador who had already raped and killed a woman in his homeland and had assaulted, I think it was a 13-year-old girl somewhere else in the U.S., one of Biden's voters. And another incident that happened that you may or may not have heard about, they've shown it on Facebook. There was a little 8-year-old white boy stabbed to death by a black woman who looked like Satan herself. And when she actually sliced him up, it showed a picture of the little boy.
That's horrific, man.
Yeah, and when they,
we reported on that too. Actually, you might have given me that tip last week, but JLP reported on that last week, last Monday.
Report, when she was being sentenced.
Yeah,
and she just had a smirk and a laugh. You have to bring the death penalty for these type of people. You can't let them sit in jail and have a guy like Biden release them. I mean, he loves these people. When these kind of attacks on whites happen, white liberals rub their hands in glee because they're saying, yeah, our people did it. What are you going to do about it?
You think
That's
so?
their attitude.
I think they try to hide. They try to pretend like it's not happening. They rub their hands in glee when a white does a crime on others. They rub their hands in glee when an angry white does some ill-conceived and evil attack on foreigners or blacks or whatever, or Muslims.
For propaganda purposes.
Yeah, for propaganda purposes in order to go after the whites and take away more of the rights and pretend like to go after the guns and everything. Go after the whites, the guns, the Christians, and all that stuff.
Right. I don't want to forget to give my regards to Azzmador. I really didn't know much about him until today or the other day when he passed, and now you're talking about it.
Yeah.
I've heard you mention him, but I knew very little about him, but everything I heard, I love.
Yeah.
And this guy that called before me, Ash from Lithuania.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? The difference between a white country and a so-called multicultural, putrid America that we're living in today.
Yeah.
They don't have no-go zones, as far as I know, in any part of Lithuania. We have no-go zones everywhere in the United States. I'm talking about, like in case of Los Angeles, a no-go zone would be South Central. A no-go zone would be Compton. We have no-go zones here in the U.S.
Yeah, effectively so, yeah.
They don't call them that,
right?
But we have them. But you don't have those in white European countries. Now, France may be an exception,
right?
Germany with all the immigrants, but Lithuania, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Hungary, Eastern Europe, they're wise to what's going on. They're looking at what's happening in the U.S. and the rest of Europe, and they don't want it.
Yeah.
The myth of race equality will be the downfall of Western civilization. It's guilt, white guilt, and the mixing of the races, all combined, will destroy Western civilization. And we're seeing that today in America, because in your monologue you mentioned Biden trying to give somehow citizenship to these criminal invaders. I don't call them undocumented. I don't call them illegal. I call them criminal invaders.
Yeah,
and one of the things, I want to try to get as much in as I can. I don't like the term racism either. You don't like it, Jesse. I don't like it. I would say the fitting term for what's going on against white is simply anti-whiteism. I would call what's happening against white like the stabbing of a young boy in Cleveland and other. I could go on forever with the black on white crime, but it isn't racism. It's anti-whiteism.
It's actually evil.
Okay.
I think isn't it best to call evil evil, because then it's just clear. It's quite clear because they want to infect whites with evil, and sometimes whites will get infected with that evil, whether that's through guilt and false love for these people, or in attacking and hating them. The whites are getting infected with evil.
I would beg to differ. I think anti-whiteism pretty much hits the nail on the head.
Yeah, but it's not the entire situation that's going on, because the whites are turning anti-white, but there are pro-whites who are people who are for the whites, but they are filled with evil too. So it's not you can describe that as anti-whiteism. I'm not going to hold that against you or try to stop you. It's a reality that people hate whites, and they hate whites for a whole lot of evil reasons.
Well, okay, but you don't accept the term racism, right? And I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it's never really rung true. It's never really rung true as a motivation. The people who are so-called racist, they are for morality. They are for civilization.
Racial pride.
Yeah, they're for racial pride, and that's what most people have some form of that on some level.
See, but the problem is if you term it racism, I'm talking about the attacks against whites, you're going to confuse a lot of people in the general public.
I know.
Because a lot of people in the general public assume when you say racism that you're that means anti-black.
Yeah, well, it means white against non-white. And isn't that interesting? They use when you picture a racist, you're picturing a white who's against non-whites. When in reality the attack is against the whites. Even the word racist is an attack on the whites. And nobody cares if a black or somebody else is racist. Oh, this person is racist? Oh, he's black? Oh, okay, whatever. Nobody cares.
And if you look at how the media describes things, when these attacks on whites happen, they all call it random violence. But when it's a white versus a black, it's a racist attack. So you see the difference right there. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. When that Bubba Wallace, that scoundrel that drives for NASCAR, when he had what he called a noose somewhere around where he worked, in the racetrack, they sent 15 FBI agents to investigate a hoax. Are they going to send FBI agents after every time a black kills a white
right.
or rapes a white woman or an illegal alien?
Yeah.
Are they going to send the feds?
Of course not. They're liberals and they're anti-white themselves. They're participating in that.
Right. I just want your audience to know some of these truths, because you got some people that call in that are just lying through their teeth, and it confuses the audience.
That's what they like to do. That's what evil people like to do. They like to confuse. They like to convolute, muddy the waters. Yep.
Misinformation, and then when you call them on it, I didn't say it this way, or they'll split hairs. They're splitting hairs, and I'm just trying to shine a light on who the real evil ones are. I was going to say racist, but I'm not going to use that term.
Blacks are the real racists.
And the term anti-whiteism, for what it's worth, comes from Mark Dice, and he really is on top of these issues.
Oh, okay.
Except for you, he's about the only person I listen to anymore.
I don't know if it comes from him. I've heard it long before I heard him say it, but yeah, he's a solid guy. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Mark in Los Angeles. Take care, man.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, he got me with the click. Rika, as in Frederick from Los Angeles.
You better let him off the hook.
What?
You ain't want to merge our cause again. You know how we do.
What?
Why he so victimized? You let him come up here and play victim like we just so powerful at 14%. How you let a black race scare y'all so much?
What are you talking about? He's talking about the FBI.
Like he's losing his country, and blacks are just and y'all can't get a handle on them. I mean, Lord. You want to eat this?
That's what you got from that? That's what you got from
that,
that, Frederick?
Yes, I got he's crying.
So you think he was only talking about blacks when he's talking about the FBI, the criminal invaders, the illegal... Hold on, man. Hold on. When he said, talked about the FBI, the criminal invaders, and he did like one or two little stories. You can't be quiet. You can't control yourself.
I just heard the whole call. I know what he was talking about.
Then you didn't. Well, you didn't. You caricatured it. Let me reiterate what he said. Let me reiterate what he said, and let me ask you my question. When he talked about the FBI going after the whites, when he talked about the criminal invaders and the rapists, and he gave one or two stories about black on white crime, you think that he's blaming everything on the blacks, and the blacks are oppressing the whites, and he's a victim? That's what you got?
All I'm saying.
Is that what you got?
No.
Okay, so then you were lying. You were just playing around?
Let me answer. Are you ready?
We'll see.
What? Are you ready for me to answer, or are you going to interrupt me is what I'm asking?
We'll see.
All right, when he's crying racism, y'all can't even tell the difference between what white people are hating white people. All y'all saying are the whites are hating the whites. FBI are the whites. So the white people hating the racist white people are the wrong white people, apparently.
What do you think you're disproving? What's your argument about?
You're saying he's crying about the FBI, the whites.
Right. So why did you think that he was blaming all the blacks? Why did you think that he was just blaming blacks as if blacks are as powerful, 14%?
As if he is the victim. The racist whites are the victim is what he's saying. The racist whites always
I didn't hear him call himself a victim.
Yes.
Where did he call himself a victim? What did he say?
The FBI are attacking these whites and letting people in our country.
That's true. Yeah, the government is letting the people into their country, and the FBI.
The racist whites. The racist whites are the victims.
But did he say himself?
Yes, he's crying every day on your show.
He never said anything about himself.
He lives in America, right?
Yes.
He's crying about the immigrants coming into America, right?
Yes, you can call it crying if you want to be mean about it.
He's not crying about himself.
I didn't hear him talk about himself. He's talking about what's happening to the country.
And he don't live in this country, or he lives in
Lithuania. Can a man talk about what's happening to his country without feeling like a victim?
Not if he ain't gonna do nothing about it. He ain't gonna do nothing about it.
What is he? Why does he have to do something about it?
That's what talking about our country is gonna do. If you ain't gonna do nothing about it, you're crying.
How is that crying?
Because you're not doing nothing about it. Who are you telling?
What do you want him to do about it?
You want your chat to do something about it.
What do you want him to do about it?
I'm asking. Cry. I love it. I love it. Cry. I love it when they cry because they're not doing nothing about it. But crying to you. This is the cry report.
Why should he do something about it? Rika.
Call into the cry report.
So what are you doing? You're
losing America and want your country back. You say what?
Are so you're just calling in to gloat that you hate whites so much that you just want to gloat about it?
No, fear mongering ain't gonna help you. Trying to scare other whites.
How is it fear mongering just saying what's happening? How is it fear mongering just saying what's happening?
No, he's lying. He said they wasn't saying we will replace you talking about the Jews. He know they was talking about the Jews. He want to kiss up to the Jews.
You don't know that he's lying?
About Mexicans. He want to act like they were talking about Mexicans or something. They were still talking about the other white.
Now you're lying.
The Jews.
I don't find you to be a very honest person, Rika.
You think you had to tell them no, they were talking about the Jews, didn't you?
I did. I disagreed with him because he heard something.
How am I being dishonest to you?
Because you're accusing him of lying when he just misunderstood the situation. And we're both talking about the same thing.
That's what he does to Joe all the time. He accuses him of lying over misunderstanding the situation.
Oh, so you think that Joe's this honest person? Do you think Joe's this honest person, Rika?
You say what?
You think Joe is an honest person?
I think he's honest about the statistics he looked up. I don't
think
how come lying and just put numbers together.
Yeah, they're irrelevant statistics. He's not an honest person. But anyway, how are you going to call Mark a liar, but you're going to call Joe honest?
Listen, I'm just saying the statistics.
How are you going to call Mark a liar, but you're going to call Joe honest?
I didn't call Joe honest. I called
Yeah, you did. You said he's honest in the statistics. Well, I didn't ask you
That's
about his
it.
statistics. Is Joe honest?
And Joe honest about.
Is he honest?
I don't know. I don't know Joe's heart.
So then, how do you know
Joe.
Mark's heart?
Because he sat there and you corrected him. He was wrong. He was trying to lie. When
He
you
was
correct
not trying to
somebody, you
lie.
correct
He was mistaken.
He wasn't mistaken at all. He was trying to
So
lie.
you have
He
no
went over
clue.
his
You have
head.
no clue about Mark's heart, and you have no
So
clue
when he
about
said
Joe's
they will
heart. But you
replace
have
us,
no
they will
problem
not
judging the
replace us.
white man. But you wanna pretend like,
No.
oh, Joe, I don't know his heart. Double standard.
Okay. It's
Typical
okay. You can be
black.
based. No, you're double standard.
How am I double standard?
And agreeing with Mark, like, oh yeah, if you're black, only black people don't care if they racist. They be like, yeah, but white people.
That's
they
true.
do all that. You feed into the. Look at you.
He happens to be telling the truth.
Pull you away from your white guilt, Hake. You don't talk about those white store owners that was in charge of the snatch and grabs all over L.A. that got busted. Yeah, they was hiring people to go snatch and grab stuff. Mark don't report on these people. Their whites get off with corporate crimes. You know what I'm saying? They make.
No, I don't
more
know
than
what
the
you're
person,
saying.
more than the little black.
I don't know what you're saying. You sound like Maze. You sound like Joe from Phoenix. All you ever want to do is whites do it too. Whites, you gotta talk about white crime. I don't hear you talk about white crime. All you're doing is calling in crying. This is the cry report?
I ain't got no problem with the snatch and grab.
I know you don't, because you're a communist.
I don't feel either kind of way.
Typical
about it
Marxist.
You're picking sides.
Get
away from the identity of the racism.
You're a typical
racist,
Marxist, communist.
You're a racist. You're a racist and love it.
How are you calling me a racist? What does that have to do with you being? What's that have to do with you being a communist who's in favor of stealing?
No, I'm an anarchist. Get it right.
No, you're not an anarchist. You're a Marxist. Didn't you say you're Marxist?
Baby.
True or false? You called yourself a Marxist in the past.
No, anarchist.
No. You called yourself Marxist.
I called myself a Marxist before, but I'm an anarchist.
All right. So yes, you have called yourself a Marxist before.
Yeah, but Marxist.
And it was just within the last year that you called yourself a Marxist. On my show, within the last year or so, you have called yourself a Marxist.
Some of the Marxist things, but Marxism can be tweaked. Everything ain't set in stone.
All right, so yes, you're slippery snake, clear as mud, in favor of stealing, and trying to say don't take sides against the races. What?
No, you ain't. You ain't supposed to.
I know, but you're in favor of stealing.
You say what?
You're like, I don't feel no type of way about stealing.
I don't.
So does that mean you support stealing? Do you support stealing?
Say what?
Do you support
it? What God's plan? When I say God's plan.
Do you support stealing?
I support God's plan.
No. Do you support stealing, though? Answer the question.
Happening for a reason. Do you understand?
Answer the question, Rika.
What? I just did.
No, you did not. No. Do you support stealing?
I don't pick sides. What?
So, in other words, you are Joe from Phoenix. You're an intellectual who's just gonna take a perversion of Jesse's message about not taking sides, and not answer the question, and just be okay with stealing, okay with accusing whites of being racist, and okay with the destruction of the country, and just call it God's plan. Is that what you're about? Is just being just twisting?
We're gonna be long gone, and God's still gonna be around 300, 400 years from now. You feel that?
So you're just for an intellectualizing and twisting of Jesse's message. Is that what you're about?
No, I'm not. I told Jesse
you are.
in church, man should be over the woman, not woman over the kids. The man should treat the woman just like the kids. Discipline them both at the same time. Raise them both under the house at the same time. She got a problem. She need to go to her daddy. I'll go to her daddy with her, and she can go to my daddy. It don't even matter, but she ain't going to be over my kids corrupting them, and then I got to go. They need to go forgive their mama. What the heck? No, I'm going to have my kids just like them Muslims. Have you ever seen them Muslims?
Isn't it too late for that?
Time out. Listen. Have you ever seen
No, you're changing the subject, though. You're changing.
I'm not. I'm on the same thing. Listen, have you ever seen the Muslim kids that correct their mother when they're young and the father lets them?
No, I
That's
never.
how they
I don't
learn
even
how
know
to control
Muslim
their
kids.
women.
I don't even know Muslim kids, so no, I don't know
You
that.
see it on TV all the time. All
I
right, go
don't.
ahead.
I
What
don't
you
watch
saying?
TV. I'm busy.
Okay.
But
All right,
Rika,
yeah, all right.
Rika, you. Okay, so isn't it a little late for that? For you to learn that lesson? What, are you gonna have more kids or something?
I always knew that lesson. The system that we got in place of religion is all messed up.
You
is
did
what
not
I've
know
been
that lesson?
saying. What lesson? That y'all had it messed up? No, I've been knowing religion and Jesus was fake. What are you talking about? I ain't learned
You're
no
talking
lesson.
about man over the kids and no woman involved?
Religion. I'm talking about Jesus and how Abraham supposedly had 2 kids, the Semites, and all this fake stuff that we in trouble about now. That's what I'm talking about. Man is stupid for believing in all this nonsense that y'all uphold these people to be chosen. Y'all a mess.
Oh.
Come on, man.
Well, we may be
All
a
right.
mess, but you're a mess too. You know what I labeled your
I
call
know who
was?
I am. I know who I am.
Are you a mess?
Pharaoh.
Do you know you're a mess?
No, I'm Pharaoh.
We
Pharaoh, Rika's in the
translated
house.
that as mess. Thank you for your call, Rika.
No. Return to your father. That's all it's about. God is God. Jesus and all these play little prophets and messiahs, y'all too focused on going away from God and focusing on Jesus. Y'all need to return to God the Father. That's what message Jesse's on. And
Get
that's
your
why he's
mugs,
so
get your
blessed
bond
that
mugs,
he-
guys. Rebuilding the
Yeah, I got
family
my
by
Apple
rebuilding the
Mail
man.
my bond mug. Apple Mail, can you see me?
Thank you for your call, Rika. Appreciate it.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, you too. Bye. It is true that you don't want to cry. And he almost was like Fed posting. He being Rika, Frederick. Fed posting. You're going to cry about it. You're not going to do anything. What do you expect us to do? I think it's okay to talk about what's happening in the country if it doesn't get into you and bother you inwardly, in the innards, in your inner being. And it does bother Mark. He's criticizing Mark because Mark is bothered by what's happening in the country. Because he has this false notion about love is just being a hippie. Because he doesn't know what love is. A lot of people, including so-called Christians, are just blind as to what love actually is. So they just think it's being hippie and letting people walk all over you. Is that really what you think the JLP does? Or what Trump does? You who love everybody? Or Jesus did? Jesus did let them crucify him, though. So you don't want it to get into you. You don't want to cry. But Rika seems like he's gloating against the whites. He supports having white guilt. Having quote-unquote white guilt. False guilt over false history. What a mess. David in Ocala, Florida is on the line here. David in Ocala, what's up? How you doing?
All right, Hake.
Hey.
I just wanted to add to something that Mark was brought up. The woman, the black woman that stabbed the little boy, the 3-year-old, she stabbed him in his face.
Oh, really?
I mean, they got video footage of her following the mother out of the store. She's got the knife in her hand, and she walks out the store and stabs this little boy in the face and kills him. Now, could you imagine if a white woman followed a black woman and her 3-year-old child outside of a store and stabbed him in the face? What would be going on right now?
It would be a horrific situation. They would be crying racism and making a scene.
Yeah, and that's really what the whites are. That's what we're talking about. Okay, this double standard. The other thing is that the woman, I believe that he's talking about that got killed, that they just found that El Salvadorian. That's who it was. It was a illegal that came in here. Anyway, she had 5 children.
The young lady who the woman who got raped and murdered, according to you guys.
Yeah, if it's the same one.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's the one he's talking about because they just arrested him in the last week.
I may have a
DNA.
illegal killed mom. Oh, yeah, I have the screenshot. Oh, that's who he was talking about.
I believe
Rachel
so.
Marin. Rachel Marin murder. Illegal immigrant from El Salvador charged in rape and killing of Maryland mother named Rachel Marin. She's like an IG gal. Mark.
I mean, 1 minute. Hey, I don't know if she's
A mother of 5. I think you're right. Yeah, I saw this from Fox News the other day, and I took a screenshot. So that's the that's like this sketch of this.
Yeah, one
perp.
minute you're riding a bike, and the next minute you're dead meat, man.
Not good.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
You got to be careful everywhere you go now. And I didn't want to keep you long, but I just, where's Joy Reid and all these people on this? I mean, it's definitely biased. You notice that if it's a black person that kills somebody, they don't say anything. They don't. If it's a white person, it's white. This white guy killed people. Usually, I mean, it's not always the case, but to Frederica. Okay, we're not going to make it another 300 years, buddy.
No, I think he's just saying. Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what a mess.
I know. Well, y'all bring up 2045. It's funny that y'all bring that up because I've been saying for the last 2 years that this country won't make it past 2045.
Thanks, yeah, it's.
What do you think about that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I can't say. I'm not into predicting the future.
Well, the reason why I'm saying this is because of the debt, okay? The debt situation and the inflation, okay? How bad the inflation is with the debt and the fact that they've let all these people in here to take everybody's jobs. I mean, go out. Hey, be a 58-year-old white guy and go out and try to get a job right now.
Interesting point. I've heard stuff like this.
So.
Not good. It's a bad situation. But I think that if you never know, man, you never know. But I say we just stay in the present.
Well, I understand that, but you'd have to. I mean, you'd have to not. You got to look at the writing on the wall. Here, I'll leave you with this. God scattered those people at the Tower of Babel because they were trying to unite.
Yeah, okay? And build this big tower and reach higher than heaven.
Well, I think there was more to it than that because, God knew, hey, if they built a tower and it got to 10,000 feet, they couldn't breathe, okay? There's more going on there than that.
No, anyway. didn't according to the Bible, God said if these people unite, there's nothing they can't do.
Right.
And so he divided them by making them have different languages, and they started fighting amongst each other, and then they scattered, according to this story.
Right. Now what?
He wasn't concerned about them not being able to breathe.
No, I'm just saying if the tower got to 10,000 feet,
that's irrelevant. Move on with your point. Go ahead, get to your point, though. Get to your point. Sorry, I stopped you.
The point is, we're trying to unite the world again.
Oh, yeah, this globo homo stuff, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the whole American thing, too. We're all united. We're all, all these ethnic groups, and everything like that.
True. And it's a devilish way. It's not a godly way that they're uniting. The kingdom of heaven, is naturally diverse. Like people just naturally kind of come together. And it's there's very few probably. And then the kingdom of Satan is full of crowds and crowded with this diversity stuff. And that's what they're bringing in, is the kingdom of Satan.
Yeah, well, they've been bringing it in for a while. And now with this, all this protection from these for these people that, see, remember what I told you? They think they're special. So now... So the blacks think they're special.
True.
The LGBT crew thinks they're special. They think they're special. Hake.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I seen a boxer the other day telling a guy he was going to fight, there's no way I'm going to let a white boy beat me. Now, you reverse that around.
Yeah.
Okay? And have a white guy telling a black guy, there's no way I'm going to let a black guy beat me.
Right. Yeah. You know, I saw this story from a few years ago, 2020, July 2020. This rapper recorded his brother beating a Macy's employee, this white man, older man, not that old, but a little bit older, maybe 30s or 40s, maybe 50s, just beating him, this 18-year-old black dude, athletic black dude, just beating him. And they pretended like, oh, because he said the N-word. First of all, so what if he said the N-word? And second of all, that's a lie. You didn't say the N-word.
Didn't they kill the guy?
No, that's a different N-word story.
Was the other
That was a black
yeah,
Hispanic who did, and that guy, I think he did. I bet you he looked like he said the N-word. It was like a 70-something-year-old guy, old man, who was getting bad service at a Dunkin' Donuts. That's the story you're thinking about. I'm talking about this Macy's employee who got beaten. I think he survived. I don't think it was any kind of fatal thing. But yeah, all kinds of, to your point, people thinking they're special and thinking that you got to treat them in a nice way, and they can come up with this fake excuse to get people on their side for beating you, assaulting and battering you, or even killing you. This fake N-word excuse.
All right, well, listen, man, I'll let you go. I just wanted to clarify that little boy got stabbed in the face.
Yeah, I didn't know that detail.
Kid, because that's the real issue here. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, in that two stories, because the children are devastated, I'm sure. And look at how many lives this one person affected by coming into this country. Okay.
You're talking about the mother of 5 who was killed, raped and killed. Yeah.
Look at all that whole family. I mean, we're probably talking 20 people got affected by this, this one illegal, okay?
Yeah.
They shouldn't be here.
Right. That's the slap in the face. They shouldn't even be here.
Well, you go back to that talk in the White House between Trump and Schumer, and Trump saying, look, I'm going to shut the government down because these people, America does not want these people coming in here. They're killers. They're bringing drugs. He listed the whole thing. And sure enough, that's exactly what's went down since he got out of office. They brought in the killers. They brought in the drugs. I mean, it's just like there used to be a wrestler that used to say it's pure pandemonium, buddy. And that's why this country can't make it 20 more years, I don't believe. So anyway, have a great day, man. Thanks for letting me get on and talk about that.
Yeah, okay? Definitely. Thank you, David in Ocala.
All right, later on, buddy. All right, bye.
Bye. Let me show the picture of the woman. If you go into Bionca, Ellis, Julian Wood, this is a 3-year-old boy, Julian Wood. JLP covered this story on the Jesse Lee Peterson show last, I don't know what day it was, last Monday. Bionca Ellis Julian Wood folder. Just a couple of pictures here. Bionca Ellis was the black gal. Big old black gal, and this is the 3-year-old little boy, Julian Wood, who got, according to David and Ocala, she got him in the face with her knife. Terrible, huh? That's the woman who was just marking Los Angeles, mentioned how this woman was just smiling, just being insane and evil, possessed. I don't think that's her real hair. I remember seeing the video of her in court making that scene. I thought it was a big boy, like a big black boy, like young man, like not fully developed, but she was just a sort of a mannish gal. What a shame, huh? Terrible. Rest in peace, Julian Wood. And let's hope she faces justice in a just way. Terrible. Anyway, James in Illinois on the line here. Thank you for calling and holding, James in Illinois. What's up?
Hey, Hake. We talked last week. I went by Jim from Illinois, though.
Oh, okay, cool. Which do you prefer, out of curiosity?
I typically go by James. I just went by Jim last time because I don't really want anybody to, like...
Docs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been living with my grandparents the last couple years, and my grandpa died in February, and then my grandma had cancer, and she ended up dying yesterday, actually. So that's crazy.
So your rest in peace to your grandma, and rest in peace to Azzmador.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about there's like all these, like in movies, like the mediums and stuff that'll like contact their dead relatives and stuff. And I feel like I heard something about how they hang out here for a few days or hours or something after they die. And I was just kind of like trying to feel her spirit, you know, shortly after she died. And I didn't know if that was just kind of like retarded or what.
I think it is. I think you don't want to play with that stuff. Because it could be your imagination. It could be a demon's talking to you. It could be something posing as her. And you don't want to get into imagination and stuff like that. You just steer clear of that. Just, she's gone, let her go.
It's hard though, man. It's shitty. I'm really going to try not to cuss. But
nice.
Man, this is just,
so you were thinking, don't go to any mediums. A lot of times those are women, by the way.
No, I used to be into the occult scene.
Yeah, that's right. So that got into your head about it a little bit.
Yeah, so I still have a lot of that hanging around. So.
Yeah, don't fall for it. Don't fall back into that. I mean, if you can help it, just don't steer clear.
Yeah.
You do JLP's silent prayer?
No, I should. But.
Yeah, because you want to be present. Because in reality, the feelings about your grandmother, that's not love. That's just drama, mess.
I know,
you know?
But I don't know if there's something wrong with me or what, because like I did cry for a few minutes and I got kind of raged out and stuff, but I didn't really hit anything or nothing. But I did go through a strong wave of emotion, but I really feel like it's nothing compared to what it should be. And I feel like maybe this is a sign that there's something wrong with my head.
Not necessarily.
I'm not the emotionally mature guy. Like I really don't have much figured out. So I don't understand how or if I'm actually handling this well or not.
Don't try to judge yourself, man. Don't try to judge whether you're handling it well or not. Because nobody's...
I just feel like a sociopath a little bit. Like some people, like if they knew that I wasn't like sitting around crying about it, grieving, then they'd probably call me a sociopath. And
well, they're crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're crazy. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to what you imagine that other people might say. Don't listen to what you think that you should be doing. Just be what you're doing. Avoid hitting stuff if you can. Come to the present. In the present, all is well. You couldn't do anything. Everybody truly is alone. Your grandmother, even if she was surrounded by loved ones, which I don't know if she was or not, probably not. But anyway, she was really alone though, because people suffer alone in their hell, really, or in heaven. So, you're fine. God's with you, you know.
Yeah, I guess, but
you're upset about her dying.
Well. Just in the, I heard Jesse talk about that a long time ago, and that really set in for me. It clicked like instantly about how when you feel bad about somebody dying, unless it's like, it wasn't their time to go and they like got murdered type of thing, then it's like, okay, then maybe you should feel bad for them.
For a second,
most of the time you're just feeling bad for yourself.
Yep.
But at the same time, it makes me feel guilty. It makes me feel selfish to not be sitting in pain with it. Like
no, don't fall for that. That's silly. I remember feeling like I should feel guilty for not feeling anything about 9/11 after 9/11 happened, 2001, because everybody was so dramatic, and I'm like, maybe I should be feeling worse than I should. But no, what good does feeling do anything or anybody? That's dumb. You're supposed to be a man, you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
just be normal.
Did you guys mention the other day? I wasn't alive, but during 9/11, did they put like the whole country on like a color system or something?
Oh, they had this different alert level. Maybe you're talking about the
and it was
threat
like
level.
they were trying to tell people don't go outside today. Don't go outside today. There's gonna be a bombing. It's a high chance. Please,
they did some stuff like that. They did some stuff like that. They did, they try to act like they're doing something. And they do these little things.
Isn't that like ultra commie type stuff? Like you can't leave your houses except on certain days.
It sort of is. I remember after not so much 9/11 shutting down because we just lived our lives. We went out, did my workout. One of my classes was canceled by the emotional teacher, but my coach, who's unemotional, he's like, if we don't work out right now, then the terrorists win. I'm like, oh, great. Now we have to do our workout. And I didn't really believe in that, but I do remember not liking the shut down city of Boston. Boston turned into a ghost town after the Boston Marathon bombing in like 2014, 2013, whenever that was. And that turned into a ghost town because the two brothers, Tsarnaev brothers, Muslims, did this terror attack on the Boston Marathon, and it got shut down. Everything was closed. I did not like that. And I also didn't really like, although it was kind of fun, the China virus shutdowns when everybody was like shut down and like the roads, it was no traffic. I liked that because when I would drive somewhere, but nothing was open. It stunk.
Yeah.
We should just live. We should just live our lives. They can't protect us.
I think a lot of people got into drugs.
Stay close to your phone.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people got into drugs during that coronavirus too.
Oh yeah. Overdoses.
A lot of teenagers,
Overdoses went up because what else are you gonna do if you can't be out exercising, playing sports, going to school, or going to work? You're gonna turn into a bum.
And during the same time, there was a bit of a spiritual. They called it like the new Aeon. The new Aeon was upon us during that time.
Oh, funny.
That's when all the kids were getting into psychedelics, and then they were going on YouTube figuring out about all this spiritual bullcrap about how it's the dawn of the new Aeon, and everyone's going to be their own gods. And it's pretty crazy, really.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was going on a bunch or if it was just kind of targeted at me and a couple people around me or what. But
it is definitely more trendy. Like all the young rappers, I think I talked about this with you last time you called. All the young rappers are into this new agey stuff.
Yeah,
and drugs.
And I heard somebody, there's an aura. Aura is like a new word now. It's like a new little trendy poppy word for these people.
Yeah.
Aura, like, you see people's aura color and it means what type of person they are. Now there's like a little meme now that's like plus 1,000 aura or some, so that's interesting. That's coming to mainstream.
Yeah.
I feel like they're subtly trying to push occult principles onto people.
Yeah, they really are. It's a mess because they've almost totally replaced Christianity. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you, James in Illinois. Thank you for the update. Keep your chin up. Don't get in your head about what you're feeling or not feeling. Don't judge yourself if you do slip back into mess, but avoid it. Avoid it. And
cool.
Check out JLP's Silent Prayer and just stay present. You're fine.
All right.
It's great to hear from you. Check in again sometime.
All right. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Let me double check for any remaining super chats. We have 5 minutes to go till Joel Friday TV coming up. Shout out to, once again, BrandonM 10. Nice to see from you. Nice to, quote unquote, hear from you. I brought up how GMD Jim brought up that first black slave. He also, I saw, pointed out that Anthony Johnson and a lot of these slaves would breed or have S with their slaves, female slaves, presumably, right? And have children, and those children would become slaves. Interesting, huh? Sort of. The things that people do. The things that people do. I cracked a little bit. I'm growing. Yes, Joel Friday TV coming up next, guys. I think we're all clear on these super chats. Jeff in Ohio on the line. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding. What is up?
Hey, Hake, what's up?
Hey, not much.
I was just calling about an N-word story.
Okay.
With me recently, the whole Twitter thing with that woman made me think about it. I'll try to be quick because I know you got to go, but
sure.
Yeah, family members. This would have been like the late '60s, and I'm from rural Ohio, so but the town I grew up in had kind of a higher black population.
Yeah.
And anyway, this family member, the across the street neighbors, was a nice black family, and so this family member said when they were about 6 years old, they were dropping the N-word, just playing with the kids or whatever, and the father of this black family was just like, hey, could you just not use that? Just don't use that word. That's not a good word to say. You know what I mean? He didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
He just said, don't say the word, and yeah, so it wasn't a big deal. He didn't tell the kids' parents, nothing like that.
Nice. Yeah. That's fair. That's just because there are blacks. There are blacks who don't like it, don't say it, and they don't. Some of the more respectable, if you will, they don't like it. They don't say it. They don't like other people saying it, no matter who they are, black or white. And it's good to let a kid know, hey, I think that's okay.
Well, it wasn't even. It would have been like if he was saying the F word or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like he identified with it. He was just like, hey, that's probably not a good word to say.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't use that word.
Nice. It's like, don't say the N-word, kids.
The town, nothing. Yeah. It wasn't the talk of the town. It wasn't like.
Yeah.
But luckily, I had I grew up in the same town, and all of the old school blacks were like that. Just like salt of the earth, just great people that didn't identify with race or anything.
Yeah. Well, so. I mean, that's how normally it is until push comes to shove, and then when you push people to extremes and you push people and you introduce these controversial topics, then you might find something other than something
true.
Otherwise, because people are
look at it on the opposite side.
Yeah, people
like
get
me.
Along with you until there's some disagreement or personal anger.
Right.
And then they go to that.
Yeah, that's true, man.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the root, it's the anger. It is with anger, you can't see people and you start judging them in ways that aren't even accurate.
What's funny is this story, and this is the last thing I'll say really, but like the person that told me it, they grew up and they were best friends with this man's son. You know what I mean? Like, it was never an issue other than that. It was never an issue.
Yeah.
But it was just an interesting story.
That's cool, man. Well, thank you for the story. It's good to hear from you, Jeff in Ohio. Take care, man.
Yep. Thanks,
all right.
Hake. See you later.
Bye. Jaime in Minnesota. I cannot get to you and the rest of the callers. Jaime wanted to talk about the feminist movement and American decline. I'm at 2 minutes till, or less, really. I'm at 1.5 minutes till. What song can I play it for just only 1.5 minutes? Good morning. Let's just do good morning. Forgive me, Azzmador. I'm doing Good Morning by Butterflies. Adios, America. Catch Joel Friday TV coming up next. Bullfrogs and Butterflies. Good morning and adios, America.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're feeling fine. The sun is just above the hill, another day for us to fill with all the things we love to do. Oh, can't you hear? It's calling you. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're feeling fine. Come on and get up, get out of bed. You gotta get up, you sleepyhead. The day is dawning just for you, and all your dreams are coming true. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine. Good good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time to rise and shine.
Adios, America. Joel Friday TV coming up now. Thanks, Hassan.